Hello and welcome to this special interview on NDTV Profit. We're sitting down today with Dr. Rajiv Lall, MD of and CEO of IDFC. Dr. Lall, thanks so much for speaking with us today.
Glad to be here.
Let me just start with the big picture, which everybody is talking about on a constant basis. Now, we've had about a 3-month period over which it seems like the macroeconomic environment has turned considerably, and policy actions have also kept pace. What is your assessment of where we stand right now, on a 3-month period? Have things deteriorated substantially, or are we looking at a system or a point where we can start thinking about a recovery?
There's no doubt that the overall situation has deteriorated faster than most people had anticipated. And it is a pity because a lot of the deterioration has had to do with liquidity, uncertainties and discontinuities in financial markets, and that has spilled over into the real economy. The precipitous fall in the construction business and consequent implications for steel, cement, transportation generally, manufacturing more broadly, have been sharper than I think most observers had anticipated. I mean, we at IDFC were expecting to see a downturn as far back as July, and in preparation for that we had actually internally decided to slow down our activities, especially on the lending side. And we came in for some criticism from the investor community at that time. In retrospect, it looks like a smart thing to do, smart thing to have done. But I will admit that I don't want to claim that we were so prescient as all of that. We didn't see events turning so sharply down, our activity slowing down as sharply as it has.
Let me just now start breaking down some of those policy actions that you referred to, in particular on the lending side. Like you say that, there has been a bit of a step back, not just from you, but most lenders who are assessing things a lot more carefully. Now, the RBI's actions over the last 2 months have been fairly aggressive by most standpoints. Yet, there seems to be that risk aversion which nobody thought will seep into our system, which has come in and sort of sitting very deep. Is that a fair assessment of how the lending industry is looking right now?
Yes, as a general observation, that is correct. I think that as far as we are concerned at IDFC, having become cautious ahead of the pack, we are probably ready to become less cautious also ahead of the pack. So we are looking at actually once again stepping up the pace of our activities as far as our balance sheet is concerned.
Fair point. I'll cover the fiscal side in just a bit, but one of the things that has happened which is putting a lot of pressure on the domestic financial system is, of course, the complete absence of any funds coming from outside anymore. Yeah. In particular for the infrastructure, but broadly for the corporate sector as a whole, that is going to continue to be a problem, because even if we look at a recovery coming in, I don't think anybody is expecting a quick recovery in the global credit markets at all.
That is true. But that's the process of getting used to the slowdown. So there is no doubt that the macro GDP slowdown that we are facing is in large part due to a very significant withdrawal of overseas funding for a country like ours, that has a current account deficit and therefore is quite dependent on such funding.